Back when I ran car dealerships from 2000 to 2008, I managed up to 21 salespeople at a time. The best performer closed 1 in 2 customers. The worst performer closed almost nobody. Same leads, same showroom, same product, same training. That gap was costing the dealership hundreds of thousands of dollars every quarter. Here's the math. The top performer walks the floor with a 50% close rate, 1 in 2 people who came in left with a car. Weakest performer, 1 in 20, maybe 1 in 30 on a bad month. Average sales price was $85,000 per vehicle. This is at Mercedes-Benz. Profit margin around 8.5%. That's over $7,000 in gross profit per sale. You give that weak performer 100 qualified walk-ins over 3 months, you might get 3 to 5 sales. Call it 4. $28,000 in profit. You give those same 100 walk-ins to the top performer, 50 sales, $350,000 in profit. The difference is over $300,000 in a single quarter. And those customers, the weak rep couldn't close. Most of them bought somewhere else. They're gone, not just for this purchase, but for all future purchases. Once that relationship's established, they're unlikely to come back to the poor performer. The sales manager thought everyone was trying their best, but we were bleeding money that was invisible. So I'm going to show you why this happens and how to find it in your business. The problem wasn't effort. The weak performers showed up, made calls, walked a lot. They tried really hard. The problem was we were only tracking outcomes for a while there. Units sold, revenue generated, deal pipeline, but not the activity that created those outcomes. How many floor walk-ins each rep handled, how many turned into test drives, how many test drives turned into finance applications. That's where the massive variance was hiding, and it cost real money. Service business owners with sales teams typically track what their CRM shows them. Leads in, deals closed, revenue per rep, but those numbers hide the real problem. Activity, not outcomes. The actual work that leads to outcomes. In the automotive industry, they call this the road to a sale. And it's measured everything from walk-in, meet and greet, offered tea and coffee, introduced to a vehicle, a write-up sheet performed, test drive done, valuation, introduction to sales manager, finance offered. Your CRM doesn't track all of this because CRMs are built by marketers. They show you how many leads marketing generated, not what sales did with them. So you end up with this gap. You know one rep closed 10 deals and another closed 8, but you don't know the first rep burned through 200 opportunities while the second one needed 80. The difference is costing you serious money. So at the dealerships, when we had 21 salespeople, the variance between the top and the bottom was just huge. And those top performers, they were just closing so much better that when the weak performers turned up and burned through the leads, the average deal at a high price just adds up to a massive amount, to a point where you cannot sustain a weak performer in your team. It is costing you too much. This is how you find the leak in your business. Track activity separately from the outcomes. So a simple system would be that every rep logs daily activity. Now, in some sales industries, they're notorious for not being able to do that. So we had the receptionist do it in the dealership. Customer interactions, conversations, appointments, proposal sent, sales closed. In a dealership, that looked like a whiteboard with a little daily huddle every morning where we went through all the top prospects and compared it to our spreadsheet. This is not usually sitting in a CRM. That's a separate tracker for pure activities, what you want. At the end of the week, you can see what each rep actually did and then pull your revenue numbers. Now you've got 2 data sets, activity and outcomes. Calculate these for each rep. You can get pinpoint precision now on who's missing out because they are not doing one step of the process. Interactions per conversation, steps followed per conversation, conversations per appointment, appointments per sale, average transaction value, profit per sale, revenue per opportunity, profit per opportunity. Compare your best performer to your weakest. It will tell the story. That variance shows you what you need to do. So in the dealerships, I was in charge of all of that data and I could easily see who's burning through the leads. I knew how much it cost to get a lead. I knew how many sales we made, but putting that gap in the middle there, showing with a floodlight, where those steps are breaking down was the key to it. So we were able to tune that up. We went from last performer to best performer using this system. It actually came from the Australian cricket coach. We got him to train us on tracking, and he got it from the old Moneyball movie, I suspect. And so going deeper in your data is the secret in a high-performing sales team. Weak reps, they just burn through the leads. Top performer, they're going to do the best. When you get a top performer, find out what they're actually doing and replicate that across your entire team. We used to do role plays on a regular basis. The customers who buy somewhere else, they are so expensive for you. The lifetime value of that customer. I mean, in Mercedes-Benz, an AMG customer will buy every 28 months. So that's a new car within 3 years, and they will often buy many cars. I had some of my individual clients purchased 10, 12, 14 cars from me, and for their partners and for their spouses and for their peer group referrals. It was huge. So sales managers sometimes have a gut feel, but unless they're looking at the stats, you don't know for sure. And once you see it, you can't unsee this. Get rid of that poor performance, train up the winners even better. Stop giving your best opportunities to weak performers and reroute them to the high performers. It's like that saying, you want a job done, give it to a busy person. They know how to get things done. Any option beats just unconsciously burning through profit. And this is what makes it powerful. You should do it weekly. Do it on a regular basis. If you get stats every single week, like I do still in my business to this day, we're looking at lead and lag metrics on a weekly basis that show us where the team is tracking in certain aspects, even podcast downloads, YouTube views, emails sent, visits to our website. These are all important metrics in an online business. I check the data, I can make informed decisions, and I track that versus last week and 6 months ago. Now, many of my mentor clients run service businesses. They have similar situations. They've got activities happening, but they haven't ever really granularized them or their reporting. It doesn't really matter if you're selling cars or consulting or you have physical goods. If you've got multiple steps in the process or you have multiple salespeople or multiple sales channels, track them separately, see how people are moving through the machine, and stop flying blind. This is where you can see what's happening and tune it, optimize. And it's what I do with my clients. So we're not just building tracking systems. We're interpreting the data. We are seeing where the gaps are. We're deciding what decisions would be useful once we get that data. And then inevitably we grow. I have a client at the moment who's gone from $35,000 to $50,000 per month in just the last 2 months. And we're on track to get to $150,000 per month because we're looking at all these little steps and tuning them, and it works. Get rid of the weak, improve the strong, make judgment calls, build your business, get stronger. If you've got a sales team and you're not confident that you're seeing the whole picture, then let's have a chat. Maybe we can work together. JamesSchramko.com.